Hi, in this video I'd like to talk about volume, and in particular I would like to focus on the volume of a prism. So what is volume? You may recall that volume is the amount of space that a solid encloses. So when you think of the measurement of volume, what I want you to think of is our little unit cube. So a unit cube is a cube that's 1 by 1 by 1, and that is the smallest unit, 1 unit of measure when it comes to volume. All right, so I want to know how many unit cubes are in my bigger shape here, my rectangular prism. So I can go ahead and count it, but that would take forever. But what I am going to do is take it old school and count some of them. So if I go ahead and count going back, I'll notice that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 units that way. And I can go ahead and count going across here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 units going across that way. So if there are 4 units going back and 10 units going across, we can simply multiply to figure out how many units there are at the bottom. So in order, when we multiply, what we're really essentially doing is finding the area of the base. So going throughout the bottom row, we have 40 units. But we have those 40 units in the first row, we have them in the second row, in the third row, and in the fourth row. So actually, even though we have 40 units going around along the bottom, in all, it's way more than that. We then have to multiply our base area by our height. So our height happens to be 4 units. So in order to figure out the volume of this prism, and actually any prism, you have to multiply the area of the base, which is what we just did. So let's call the base area B, big B, by the height. I'm actually going to call it big H as well, because there's going to be different heights on different diagrams, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So again, what we just did verbally, we multiplied the 4 by the 10 to figure out the base area, and then we multiplied that all by 4 in order to figure out the volume, or aka how many cubic units or units cubed are in our prism. And when we do that, we get that there are 160 cubic units or unit cube in our big figure. So otherwise saying, this little guy right here in this diagram, there are 160 of them. And all we did was just multiply base area times height to figure it out. Now let's move on to an actual question where we cannot see the unit cube, but we can still use our same formula. Alright, so here we have an example, and we're being asked to find the volume of the figure below. And so we already know that the volume for prisms is always going to be equal to the base area times the height of the prism. Now, a big temptation is to call this shape here the base. Why not? It's at the bottom, right? Isn't that what base means? Well, no, that is not what base means when it comes to these figures. The base of a prism, and listen carefully, the base of a prism is actually that shape that is congruent, the two faces that are congruent to each other and parallel to each other. So here we have a triangle that is parallel and congruent to another triangle. So in fact, the base of this figure is the triangle. It is not the rectangle that's at the bottom. That is a really, really important thing to note. All right, so once you have that, then you are really all set to go on this question. So the base area is a triangle. So B, I'll do that first. B for that triangle is a half base times height. Now you see why I was using uppercase letters before, because now we're looking at another base and height. We're looking at the base of the triangle, not the base area of the figure. And we're looking at the height of the triangle, not the height of the whole figure. All right, so the base of the triangle is 4, and the height of the triangle is 3, so that means the area of the triangle is actually going to be 6. All right, so now that we know the base area, we can plug it into the formula for the volume of the prism. So the volume of the prism is the base area, which we have now established is 6. Can put that up there. And the height, we're multiplying by the height, but not the height of the triangle, but the height of the figure, which is 11. All right, so then our volume is then 66 cubic units, or in this case, we're dealing with centimeters, so centimeters cubed. All right, and that's how you find the volume of a prism.